I just wiped a little bit of sweat off my brow because it's still hot. There's rain, it's still hot. Why? The gods have abandoned us. I hope that you have had a pleasant week, and that if you are in the northern hemisphere, that you are surviving this testicular heat.
Dinner's ready.
Okay, thank you. Hope you're surviving it, and that this sultry season is not too oppressive. I say all that to say this: I'm a little moist. Welcome to episode 14. We're going over shit. We're getting right into it. Non-electric notepad. Check it out. It's not electric. Dude. Today, for the first time in my life, I had, before I say any of that, if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is where we decompress from the stresses of the week. It's where we talk about nonsense. Sometimes it's serious. Most of the time it's not. I'm figuring out how to do this. If you're a first-time viewer, thank you for being here. Stick around. Shit's gonna get interesting. If you're a returning viewer, you know the gig. Welcome anyway. We've spent almost 2.5 minutes talking about nothing, and I'm sorry. I'm not, this channel is not a channel that reviews cold box cereal. Not. That said, today for the first time in my whole life, I had chocolate toast crunch. And for a second, I got ready to go out and get on my big wheel and ride up and down the street because I thought I was 5. I'm adjusting this goddamn camera because it's driving me nuts. Better? Bungie it, doggo. Only a little. And yeah, on a scale of 1 to 1.5, I'm going to give it a solid 1.225. I liked it. I wanted to eat 3 bowls of it and run around in circles and scream until I vomited and died, but I only ate 1. That's the restraint of an adult, but guess what's for dinner? The camera is still fucking with me. So we're gonna, goddamn, hold on, there. Yeah, that's whatever. If this camera thing sucks, I'm sorry. Life is kind of shitty sometimes, and so is my camera angle. So yeah, I'm living my life. You can't stop me. I'm gonna eat chocolate toast crunch when I want to. Anyways, done with that. If you're still here, you get a mega thanks. You get dad guns. You're awesome. This week, slightly different approach. Slightly different approach. Especially on the conspiracy theory thing, which I've been doing for the past 3 episodes. This would be the 4th. It's kind of ish 4th. Now, the symbolic lighting of this is a foreshadow of things to come. So, the intrigue. Last week I mentioned Beelzebub, his channel, and how he said something that resonated with me. I'm still thinking about that a week later, and I'm going to try to elaborate on my approach to conspiracy thinking, conspiracy theory, and bad thinking. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to say when I started out, and it didn't work out. So it's early in the game, and we're falling apart. The camera angle's all fucked again. Anyway, so this episode's gonna kind of be my take on our responsibility as humans to think responsibly. First, though, well, a thing or two, maybe a thing and a segue, and then another thing, maybe. I don't know how many people who watch this also enjoy breathing. I kind of like it, feel like I'm attached to it. It's been something I've done my whole life. Air's always been there for me. And it's cool. If you like breathing, then you should also be aware of the future of breathing, which is going to get pretty fucking hard if there's not trees. The Amazon rainforest is on fire. There's no other way to say that except to say it. The Amazon rainforest is in fucking flames. Month of June, something like 370 square miles, which is, well, I guess 20 by 20 block would be what, 400? So 19-ish. A block of land, a block of forest, 19 by 19 miles, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's millions and millions of trees, thousands of life forms, possibly even the homes of people. There's my freezer. So, with all those trees gone, possibly, here's the thing, and this is what fucking gets me. The California forest fires, I think it was last year, the year before, whatever year it was, when you got constant news coverage of middle-class people driving down the road and there's smoke and sparks and flames and all this shit, and everybody's panicking, and it's this big horrible thing. It gets news coverage, and we worried about it, and we thought about it, and I'm sure there was lots of thoughts and prayers sent out there for all the fucking good that did. But everybody was in a panic. And, you know, I'm not saying that worrying about forest fires in California is bad. However, to our south, the Amazon rainforest, which does a significant amount for the ecosystem, it's huge. Like 1/3 of all animal species are found on Earth are found in the Amazon rainforest. Huge biodiversity, huge source of oxygen, probably cleans out, I don't know how many tons of carbon out of the atmosphere every year. It obviously can't keep up because humans are stupid and we're producing it way faster. No one gives one shit about the Amazon rainforest. If the Amazon rainforest goes, people goes. It is pretty much that simple. And if people are losing their homes down there, indigenous people maybe, because they live in the rainforest, I don't know exactly where the rainforests are, and I don't know where the indigenous people live, but it could happen, or it will happen. But nobody gives a fuck because they're brown people, right? Fuck them. They aren't driving Hondas down an interstate. Who gives a shit? So yeah, it's not just pretty scenery to them. It's not just countryside to them. If you live in the jungle's your fucking home. And it has a way deeper impact. We should be reporting it, on that alone, we should be reporting it 3 times as much. Fucking blows my mind. Anyways, so yeah. There's like been 74,000 fires down there. It's up like 84% from last year. If you want the stats, go read the stats. I encourage you to do it. Give a shit about something. And as one meme on fucking Facebook or something pointed out, billionaires came forward to pay for the Church of Notre Dame in France when it burned down. Where are the billionaires? Elon Musk, with all your technological wonders. Maybe time to think about something that's not space, but maybe the place where you live in. Anyways, hey billionaires. Here's a little proactive idea for you. Why don't you put some money towards saving the forest so that the next time a church burns down, there's someone alive to give a shit. Anyway, so yeah, I read that and I was ignorant of it. I'm a little disappointed in myself. So maybe that's some of the shit that's coming across. But to make matters worse, dude, so switching now to electronic notebook. So in Brazil, this dude, I don't even know who he is. I guess he's a president or some shit. His last name's Bolsonaro, and he nicknamed himself Captain Chainsaw because he's loosened up environmental protections, doesn't seem to give a shit about illegal logging procedures, and incidentally, logging procedures is what most people are blaming for most of these fires. 99% of them, according to this report in Wall Street Journal, 99% of them have been influenced by humans. A lot of those people clearing land for logs or for agriculture, which guess what? Soil doesn't work very good for agriculture. Rainforest. And if you're wondering how it's possible for something that's called a rainforest to be on fire, it's dry season. So figure it the fuck out. Learn something. Anyways, this fucking Captain Chainsaw, dude, there was something in here I wanted to, oh man. Yeah, so the people who are reporting all this stuff, this dip in the teeth asshole Bolsonaro, Captain Chainsaw, called it a lie. Basically said that it's fake news and all that. And he's far right wing. What a surprise. Doesn't give a shit about the environment that we all should be giving a tremendous shit about, because it's kind of the place where we're at right now. Mars isn't an option. Anyway, so why are we building the wall, dude? Hey, Don. Your brother, don't build a wall. Your brother's in Brazil doing your work for you. So, fires. The planet's on fire. Moving on. More things that I probably do wrong. Parenting. That might be harsh. That might not be deserved. But come on down, asshole. There we go. Okay, so for those of you who haven't watched Weekend Extradition, my other vlog, or any of this, I had a tremendous amount of trouble when I was young learning how to read. I basically couldn't read until I was 8, when I decided to read a book, and then I read it. And then from then on, I've been a voracious reader, and here we are today, where I know just enough about a lot of topics to be aware that I have absolutely no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, as viewers of this podcast know. So my son is very, very much like that, without the tenacity that comes from parents who were absent. Sorry, mom and dad, it is what it is. We're past it now. But I was a very independent child, very tenacious. I'm still like that. If I want something, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get it, and it's going to happen. And that's just the way I am. My son lacks that. So I'm trying to teach him how to prepare to be an adult. He's only 9, so he's got some time, but I'm trying to teach him to think of himself as more mature, as not a little kid, as someone who has some responsibility in his life, as a way to encourage him to learn, so that he feels like it's something that he needs to do, and that he has to put the work in to do it. Because I can encourage him, I can help him out, but ultimately it comes down to a decision, and he doesn't want to do it. He wants to play video games, and he wants to watch bullshit on YouTube, and I don't blame him. I like those things too, but that's what he's focused on. So I'm trying to prepare his mind for being more responsible. That's probably good parenting. I've already shown him how to shave, which is ridiculous because he doesn't even have peach fuzz. But I want him to start thinking about the future. I want him to start thinking about where he's headed. And so in doing that, I've been kind of bringing him in on things so that he begins to think about that. I haven't had the sex talk with him, but I'm preparing him for those sorts of interactions, those sorts of conversations. In my opinion, before sex and taxes comes the mental substructure to do well at both. So that's where I'm headed with him. So I mentioned, I think on a vlog or something, that I've watched The Hobbit with him and been encouraging him to kind of decide what he's watching in terms of scary movies and shit like that, so that he can own that, so that he can process his emotions and understand the difference between reality and fantasy and all those things. Well, a few weeks back, I let him watch an episode or a part of an episode of Chris D'Elia's podcast, Congratulations. And I understand what's coming because I'm very familiar with the podcast. I think that Chris D'Elia is an amazing comedian, and he has a lot of funny and insightful things to say. So I'm able to kind of sort of edit it for him to kind of leave out the parts that are extremely adult. So it's mostly just cussing and talking about things that he doesn't understand, but I want him to have that experience with me of kind of being in that older bracket and beginning to view himself like that. So this week he comes down, up on YouTube, pops the latest podcast of congratulations, and he's looking at it, and he goes, "Oh, hey Dad, do you want to watch this?" And he knows that I do. He knows that I want to watch it because it just came out. He knows I want to see it. And so what he's actually communicating to me is, I want to watch this again. I want to do that thing, because we'll both sit in the chair and kind of have some cuddle time and watch this and laugh. And we do that over a lot of shows, but that's one of the shows we do. But anyway, I'm getting off. So he sees it and asks me. I'm like, oh no, it's cool, because I'm still thinking, I'm probably a pretty bad parent, because this guy cusses a lot and sometimes says some things that are fairly adult. So I don't want to expose him to too much too soon and create a problem that he doesn't have. So then later on in the day, he asked me again, oh hey, he goes back to it, and it's there again. He's like, oh hey Dad, remember this? Why don't we why don't you watch it, Dad? You could watch it. And it's fucking adorable. But anyway, so yeah, we sat down and watched it, laughed our asses off. But I kind of feel like a bad parent because I'm exposing them to some shit. But hey, it is what it is. But anyway, I'm trying. I'm trying to guide his thinking. I'm trying to get him there to where he's thinking about shit on a higher level than what he is right now, because he still has a few years left to be a child. But dude, in 9 more years, it's college time. So shit's coming up fast. Maybe that's just me being an old man, I don't know. But so as a response to that, interestingly enough, I think that he's been viewing himself like that a little bit more. Like, most of the time he wants me to make him food for lunch and whatever, which I'm happy to do. I don't care. I'm his dad. I'm gonna do it. But today he didn't even ask me or talk to me or anything. He decided that he was hungry. He wanted lunch, so he went in, peeled the crust off his sandwich, because he won't eat crust on a sandwich, which, why not? It's just bread. It's bread skinned. Fucking eat it. Anyway, peeled the crust off, got out the peanut butter and the jam, and I put butter on my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's a Midwest thing. It's how my grandma did it. It's how I do it. So he got the butter out, and he made himself this thick old sandwich. He put a lot of everything on it, as the very young will do. And he did all that. I had to tell him, you need to put up the peanut butter and shit. And he did. And he enjoyed his thick ass sandwich for lunch. And he made it. And I was proud of him. And he put it in the thing. And then I went to the table, and it looked like someone had murdered Gilbert Grape on the kitchen table. So I had to get after him about that. But anyways, I was proud of him. I think the encouraging thinking is working. And that segue time leads me into my next topic. We're getting down to conspiracy and conspiracy thinking. Don't actually have a segment this week because I'm still researching, still deciding what I want to do, because the subjects I want to get into are pretty complex, and I want to make sure that I present it right, and I want to make sure that I do a good job of that. Pause for death. I suppose at least on some level, this makes me a hypocrite, huh? That's not a good feeling. Okay, so there's kind of two parts to this, and one part just is a thing, and the other part is kind of an experiment in thinking that I'm doing with myself. It's very young. It's not developed at all. It has potential for backlash, has potential for people to lose their minds. If you need to lose your mind on me, go ahead and lose your mind on me. We'll both be alive at the end of the day, and maybe one of us or both of us will learn something. That's fine. So if I say something that offends you or gets you riled up, you know what to do. Adult conversation. It's all about thinking. So what I'm telling you is, I'm a 9-year-old making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or I'm about to, and if I leave a mess on the table by accident, guess what? We'll fucking take care of it. That said, I've been thinking about why there has been in the past few years, especially since Cheeto Jesus took the White House. I've been thinking about why there's been such a jump in people that are subscribing to conspiracy theory, and the Flat Earth Society is now far more robust than it was at the beginning of the presidency. People are joining like crazy. Folks are losing their minds. Why? Why the fuck is this happening? Because I don't think, well, let me say this. Trump has emboldened racists. I think that can be demonstrated beyond the level of doubt required. I'm not going to say beyond reasonable doubt, because that implies a really, really high level of proof. What I'm saying is there's enough proof on the table that any person of sound mind can agree that white supremacy and racism has been conflated to a level that's probably not been seen for a generation or two in the United States. So one could say that it's like, not that Trump gave permission, but created the environment in which these kinds of people felt safe. And I get that. You need out?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead. I'll cut it. Yeah, you're fine. You need me to get it? I can get it. Okay.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
It ain't no big thing. And we're back. So you could say that environment was created. There hasn't been any outcry from the White House about white supremacy. I think there was one or two very vapid, very mediocre comments about, well, racism is bad. While there's been multiple things that endorse racism and create that environment. So that doesn't take a huge amount of imagination. It just takes a person being mildly aware of cause and effect. So what I'm thinking is this, that, well, first of all, these people who fall into this like all of a sudden, over time, like the past few decades, it's like they've been maybe not conditioned, but there's been a train of thought, and conspiracy thinking is the inevitable end of that thinking. And I think that there's a lot of factors that are brought into play into this. I think, first of all, I think that there was some kind of division or schism that maybe didn't happen but was aggravated when the focus shifted from the working class being these heroes and doing everything, you know, and then there was a lot of show of support for the working class, and that shifted, it seems like national attention anyway, shifted into civil rights. None of that is bad, and I'm not saying that it is bad, but if you think about even like the advertisements and the TV shows and shit from the post-World War II era through the civil rights movement and all that, it seems like every single ad was, you know, the working man, the working man, the working man, and now you don't really see those kinds of advertisements at all. So, oh, cool. It's like dandruff all over again, all over my fucking shirt. So you have a disenfranchised working class, the limelight shifted from them, a lot of support's gone from them. You have now, especially, a culture of celebrity worship. You have an increased focus on civil rights. So now these people are feeling like they're marginalized because they don't own the limelight. That's not cool. But it does create disenfranchisement. Now, so I'm kind of leaving conspiracy theory behind and moving into the second part here. God damn, what a fucking slob. Trump obviously saw that disenfranchisement, capitalized on it big time, and that's how he did what he did in 2016. So I got a bunch of fucking notes here, but it's fucking whatever. So myself, former very conservative. I've never been overtly racist. I never was white supremacist or any of that, but I was extremely ignorant, and I think I still am ignorant in a lot of ways. I'm trying to improve that, but you know what? My brain isn't fast. So I come from a conservative thing, 100% against any kind of non-binary, 100% straight-laced relationship, all that stuff. So coming from that and then moving to a mindset that's far more liberal, to the point where I openly call myself a liberal, even though I'm a registered independent and always have been. Fuck was I going with this? At any rate, disenfranchisement wasn't capitalized on, and now we have a body of people that are emboldened who, at some point, I feel like maybe there was an opportunity missed to fill the void of that disenfranchisement, and there's a mosquito in my face, fill the void of that disenfranchisement with education and combating that ignorance. Now, the thing that I am not doing is blaming anyone for anyone else's racism at all. If a person is racist, they're racist. They know it's wrong. They exist in a world where we understand that it's wrong. We have a million reasons why it's wrong, and we can justify the shit out of why people are equal. But I feel like it's a missed opportunity. Anyways, I completely 100% got derailed, for which I apologize. So what I'm thinking is, because I'm thinking about how to bounce back from where we are right now as a country, because we're obviously in a bad place, and I feel like Trump's got 2020 pretty in the bag, more or less. I don't really feel like there's any strong strategy or any long-term, real solid long-term thinking in the liberal camp. I feel like people that are disenfranchised are simply going to become more disenfranchised, and at this point, any victory politically is Pyrrhic, kind of, because we divide further and further as a nation, and that really bothers me. I think that at some point, on some level, there could be some bouncing back from that, but I don't know how to do it. So that's my thought thing when I was thinking about conspiracy theory and how these people are disenfranchised. They're grasping at the straws of their ideology to maintain it, because it's not in line with popular thought, and they're no longer heroes. And that seems like an opportunity to me to educate and to do what's right for all of us as people, so that people that have been marginalized are no longer marginalized. Part of this comes from a conversation I had with a coworker who's pretty conservative, and we were talking about whatever, and shit, political shit. I don't even know what we're actually talking about. And he looked at me. I think we were talking about Proud Boys or something in Portland. He looked at me and he said extremely emphatically, and there was real emotion in his eyes, "I hate racism. I hate it. Those people disgust me." And I could tell that in his mind there was two things present at once: the conservative thinking that he was a part of, and the way that he thought things were, and then how much he wasn't a part of that, how much he did care about people that are unlike him. And those two things, that there's something there that we can do. And that's the message that I want to, I guess, send on today's episode. I feel like we can maybe do something and maybe bounce back from this bullshit. Anyway, what are your thoughts? I don't know. This has gone on for a very long time that you've spent with me, that I of course appreciate. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know where my thinking is erroneous, or my reasoning is poor, or maybe where I can go next. I'm interested in all that. So that's the thing. How do we recover? How do we not be at each other's throats? Because it's not cool. And it keeps us focused on stupid things. It keeps us divided and that much weaker, and we can actually begin I feel like the stronger we are, the easier we can deal with the problems that we want to deal with. Rather than the superficial problem of division, which maybe isn't superficial, but it feels like it's the first layer of something. So maybe it is superficial. I don't fucking know. All I know is I'm about done here. Appreciate your viewership. 40 minutes, 20 seconds into this motherfucker, and if you've made it this far, by golly, you're a power lifter of the mind. If you haven't subscribed, please feel free. Love to have you along. Click on the button, click on the little face in the corner, hit the bell. Comment, like, dislike, whatever you need to do. Let me know what's up. And I'll respond. With that, I am going to get out of here, and you all have an excellent weekend and an excellent week until I see you again. We'll be here next Friday, and who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? Appreciate you. I'm gone.